Aquarium lighting. What's right for you? Let's look at it together today. A good light is great, and a bad light can bring the whole feeling of your aquarium down. But who decides what a good light is? Light should meet the needs of the aquarium and its inhabitants. It's great and fine if you have a $400 light, but do you actually need it? People strictly keeping fish with no live plants are not going to need the full spectrum lighting, and hobbyists with a lot of carpeting plants are going to need a lot more visible blue light. No two tanks are the same, and it'd be foolish to think that one light could work for everybody. A good light is a light that allows you to see inside your underwater ecosystem, to view your fish decor, and it also allows you to inspect the general health of your system. Good light doesn't always have to be expensive or fancy, and it doesn't always have to have all the bells and whistles. Good light should also be easy to operate, low maintenance, reliable, and aesthetically pleasing to the viewer. A great lighting system should illuminate areas of your tank that you want to grab your attention. Varying the intensity of light across your aquatic ecosystem can create a more natural feeling of cloudy skies or varied depth in your ecosystem. Another way to accomplish a more diverse and eye-catching tank is by spotlighting. Adding underwater lighting can add an attractive mood to your aquarium that can be the center point of your room that your tank is in. But remember, these are living creatures, and this is an aquarium, not a dance club. Let's think outside the tank for a sec. Another way to add more dramatic impact to your aquarium is to think outside. Adding additional light to your room that spotlights your aquatic setup draws the viewer's eyes towards your tank from across the room and can generate more interest in the hobby. You know, that one where you spent all your hard-earned money on, the one that took all that time to get where it is today, all those water changes. Why not flaunt it to make others jealous with some pot lights or some directional lighting that accents everything in your room? Remember, your stand does more than just house your chemicals and hide your wires. It's part of your aquatic experience. By moving the light forward or towards the viewer, you can create depth and mystery to your experience. Light in the foreground minimizes the aquascape shadows and tends to push the fish further back into the tank, making them almost appear out of nowhere as they dart in and out of your hardscape. It also shadows the back when tied with a dark background, making it seem endless if done correctly. Pushing the light to the back of your tank creates more shadows in the foreground, pulling your fish forward in an open aquascape, showcasing the beauty of the fish more than the aquarium substrate and hardscape. Aquarium lighting is rated in 4 ways: Kelvin, PAR, Spectrum, and Watts. The following information is only meant to be a quick overview of the science of lighting. For a beginner entering their hobby with no live plants, any light will help you on your journey to enjoying your aquarium. Most users with moderate lights can benefit and will search out for a light marked as plant or full spectrum, which will assist them and allow them to enjoy their aquariums for years to come. But what does Kelvin, PAR, Spectrum, and Watts actually mean? And how can we get a basic understanding to what we need in our tanks? Kelvin is a way to describe the light's appearance. It's measured in degrees of Kelvin on a scale from 1000 to 10,000. The higher the number, the more white to blue the light will appear to our eye. Most freshwater aquariums are rated between 5500 and 8000 Kelvin. Intensity and spectrum are less important in aquariums with artificial plants, although some lights enhance natural colors better than others. A light that is too intense may promote algae, especially in non-planted tanks. In planted aquariums, it's recommended to look for light that is rated between 6500 and 7500 Kelvin. Light spectrum is the many different wavelengths of energy produced by a light source. Light is measured in nanometers. Each nanometer represents a wavelength of light or band of light energy. Visible light is part of the light spectrum from 380 nanometers to 780 nanometers. Planted aquariums benefit the most from red and blue spectrums of visible light because the blue light promotes photosynthetic growth and allows excellent water penetration. The addition of red light promotes red plants for staying red. PAR, or photosynthetic active radiation, is the measurement of light emissions within the photosynthetic range of 400 to 700 nanometers. This represents the area of light that plants use for photosynthesis. There are many areas within the PAR scale which plants absorb only small quantities, such as in the green range around 560 nanometers. Thus, a reading of the light spectrum must be used in conjunction with the PAR reading to determine what light is good for your aquarium. These two readings together will give the complete picture of the light's effectiveness. PAR showing strength, and spectrum showing that the strength is in the proper wavelength proportion for what the plant can actually utilize and is not just wasting energy. A watt is a unit of power which is calculated as 1 joule of energy used per second. Watts are not a measure of light's output. Rather, they are a measure of how much energy a light source is consuming. It is commonly believed in our hobby that we should have X amount of watts per gallon or inches of depth. The unit of measurement to determine how much light is emitted is called lumens. It is in my opinion that we should be asking how many lumens per depth of tank or gallons of water we should have instead of how many watts. Now that science class is over, other things to consider aside from fixtures is how will you be controlling your lighting. Will you want to be turning them on and off? Should you have a timer? Or do you want to be able to remotely turn on your lights via Wi-Fi or via voice command? The answer is really going to depend on you. For beginners and most people only have one tank with some decor, they can get by with turning their lights on and off during feedings or only turning them on when they want to enjoy their aquariums. Remember, fish are animals and animals need to sleep too. It's not advised to leave your lights on 24/7 or sporadically as our aquatic pets, like humans, need a bit of structure in their lives. Most people with planted aquariums will benefit from timers on their lights to allow time for the photosynthetic process to occur. Generally speaking, planted tanks require between 6 and 8 hours of light. However, this must be adjusted via trial and analysis. Lately, because of technology and advancement, Wi-Fi enabled timers and electrical disconnects have become more prevalent in our hobby. They are great because with one click on your phone or a quick command to Google or Alexa, your aquarium lights can turn on and off. Also, remote commands can be programmed via their apps to set the programs to control them as well. Wi-Fi enabled RGB lighting and Bluetooth programmable lighting are also becoming more prevalent in our hobby. Fluval is a pioneer in this, releasing their Aqua Skies series and plant lineup, which come with an app which you can control each aspect of light, including spectrum, output, intensity, and timing. They also have some pretty cool presets like lightning storm and passing clouds, which are pretty fun to play with. But at this point, app support and implementation have been more of a novelty than a necessity. As a side note, we are not sponsored by Fluval or any aquatic company. In conclusion, if you have a T5 light or a full spectrum high intensity RGB plant light, the right light for your tank will be dependent on what you wish to accomplish. I suggest just budgeting for your light, shopping around, planning ahead, and weighing all your options before you make your choice.